Om Namah Shivaya. Namaskar friend, welcome to my Astro Spiritual channel. I am Dr. Rishikesh Debnath from Kolkata. Today I am going to discuss about the very important planets, that is shadowy planets, very mysterious planets. Rahu Ketu details in astrology. You know, Rahu Ketu axis is important. It can change and alter, manipulate the effects of other planets, significations of other planets. Therefore, Rahu and Ketu axis is the black hole in planetary family or in solar system. You know, the significations of Rahu Ketu are so vast, so mysterious, so tremendous. They can alter, they can manipulate, they can influence other significance of other planets in the planetary family. Therefore, the deep knowledge and the complete knowledge about Rahu Ketu is necessary to predict a horoscope, to predict it only. So, for better prediction, the detailed knowledge of Rahu Ketu axis is very important, and hence Rahu and Ketu axis is as important in astrology as zero important in mathematics. You know. So friends, let's come to the main points here. I'm going to discuss about Rahu and Ketu in details. And before that, I applaud and thanks a lot to my beloved subscribers and viewers of this channel. And also at the same time, I request you all to visit again my prior video in YouTube, that is Planets Insight and Rahu Ketu axis. That will be here. I shall again request you to visit my prior video, especially Rahu Ketu axis. The link of Rahu Ketu axis and the planets inside have been given in the description box. And at the same time, friends, at the same time, I claim that there is hardly any video in social media having so many informations, so many chapters, so many topics covering within one video. So here in this video, I described about the chapters like here. Through this video, I shall discuss about the important point, important chapter about Rahu and Ketu here. Number one, importance of Rahu and Ketu. Number two, the astronomical views of Rahu and Ketu, that is notes. Number three, astrological views of the notes Rahu and Ketu described here. Number four, the mythological views of Rahu and Ketu, that is notes. And number five, the significations of Rahu and Ketu in details. Number six, the exaltation and debilitation of Rahu and Ketu also described here. Number seven, the constellations that is star of Rahu and Ketu, also described here. Number 8, the Juga Karaka concept of Rahu and Ketu, in whose position Rahu and Ketu are Juga Karaka in Kundli or horoscope. Number 9, the very important chapter, conjunction of nodes, that is conjunction of Rahu and Ketu with other planets. Number 10, the very important chapter, the conjunction chapter, that is KALSARPA Yoga and KALAMRITA Yoga. And number 11, the prediction of nodes in different 12 houses. And number 12, the remedies chapter. This is the important chapter for this video, because people, those who are Rahu and Ketu afflicted, how they can get rid from the Rahu Ketu affliction. The remedial astrology about Rahu and Ketu is described in the same chapter. Therefore, friends, please stay with this video until the end of this video. And please don't skip any chapter for better understanding of the Rahu Ketu and details in astrology. So, now going to describe about the chapter one by one. Stay with me, please. The earth, the very junction point of earth orbit, the crossing point of the earth orbit, that is ascending node, is called as Rahu or North Node or Dragon's Head. And likewise, while moon in its own orbit moving around the earth, the descending node, that means the crossing point of the earth orbit and moon orbit, this very descending node, very sensitive node, that is called the south node. That means while going to the southern latitude, this node is called as Ketu or Dragon's Tail or South Node. This is the astronomical phenomena of Rahu and Ketu here. Now I shall discuss about the mythological views. We know Rahu and Ketu are very important, as I stated earlier. Therefore, in our ancient civilization, like biblical civilization, Chinese civilization, and Egyptian civilization, also known about Rahu Ketu as different name. In our ancient text, that means ancient text cultures, we know Rahu with its counterpart Ketu is individual entity, that is Sarvanu. His name was Sarvanu, the commander-in-chief of Debnath. While at the time of charting of ocean, Samudra Manthan, we know Rahu and Ketu was dissected by the wheel chakra of Vishnu. You know this fact, about this fact, and this is a fact about the Samudra Manthan. I have discussed earlier in the video. Rahu Ketu axis. Therefore, Rahu and Ketu are important in ancient mythology also. And here now I am going to start about the Rahu Ketu's position, positional power, and the favorable position of Rahu Ketu in birth chart. The favorable position of Rahu Ketu axis in horoscope is like while Rahu is placed in Gemini sign in own constellation Adra Nakshatra, and likewise the Ketu is in own constellation in Mula Nakshatra and Sagittarius sign Anu Rashi. And the other situation is that while Rahu is placed in Libra sign in Om Nakshatra constellation in Shadi Nakshatra, and at the same time Ketu is placed in Aries sign in Om constellation of Ashini Nakshatra in Mesha Rashi. And another position of Rahu Ketu axis are said to be favorable position. That position is while Rahu is placed in Aquarius sign in own constellation, that is in Kambha Rashi, in own constellation, own nakshatra, Shatabhisha, and at the same time Ketu is placed in Leo sign in own nakshatra constellation, Magha Nakshatra in Singha Rashi. These are three favorable positions of Rahu Ketu axis is trailed here. And now I am going to discuss about the exaltation and debilitation state of Rahu and Ketu in birth chart. That is, exaltation and debilitation of Rahu Ketu axis in birth chart is as Rahu and Ketu is exalted. That is, Rahu is exalted in Bhargo sign. At the same time, Ketu is placed in Pisces sign, Mina Rashi. Or there is another views about Rahu Ketu exaltation and debilitation. In some text, Rahu is exalted while Rahu is posited in Taurus sign, Vrishabha Rashi, and at the same time, Ketu is posited in Scorpio sign, Vrishika Rashi, and the situation above or reverse are the debilitation signs of Rahu and Ketu. And at the same time, Rahu and Ketu, while Yoga Karaka, so far we know Rahu and Ketu are malefic planets, most malefic planets in astrology, but they can exert good knowledge, benefic knowledge, tremendous. At the same time, they can exert good result, best result, tremendous result to achieve success in life, materialistic life, for the betterment of life, while they are in Yoga Karaka in horoscope. Now, what are the conditions of Yoga Karaka? That also you can see from here in Vedic astrology. There are 4 benefit signs. That is, in Vedic astrology, there are 4 benefic signs, benefic houses. Actually, benefic houses. The first house, benefic house, is the ascendant, Lagan. Second benefic house is the 4th house. Third benefic house is the 7th house. And 4th benefic house is the 10th house of horoscope. House is more benefic than the ascendant. And the 7th house is more benefic, more powerful than the 4th house. And 10th house is the more powerful than the 7th house. These houses are called quadrant house or Kendra houses, Kendra Bhava. And there are 3 trinal houses There are three trinal houses. That is Lagan, Ascendant, and the fifth house, and the ninth house. These three houses are called trinal houses. It is to mention here that the fifth house is more powerful than the ascendant, and the ninth house is moon, and the ninth house. And the ninth house is the more powerful than the fifth houses. Yeah, ascendant is the more powerful house. Here the fifth house is the more powerful trine house, and the ninth house is the more powerful than the fifth house. And there is another relation, that is yoga karaka relation between quadrant house and trinal houses. If there is any relation between quadrant and trinal houses, that is called yoga karaka astrology. If this yoga formed in quadrant houses and trinal houses, that will be called the Raja Yoga as per Vedic astrology. And at the same time, if Rahu and Ketu are involved with this Raja Yoga, Rahu and Ketu exerts the best result for the native for his achievement, success, material gain, as per the significations of Rahu and as per the significations of Ketu. Yes, no. Rahu and Ketu plays an important role in astrology, and therefore the stars of Rahu and Ketu also have important roles in astrology, in KP astrology, modern astrology, stellar astrology, and also in degree astrology. No, the position of natal Rahu, the degree, minute, and second of Rahu and Ketu is also important for native for the prediction of gochar, that means transit. The very point where the Rahu is at the time of birth, the same degree and same minute with the trinal houses of Rahu and Ketu also affected, also influenced by the transit of planet. Therefore, the position of Rahu and Ketu also to be noted with their degrees as well as their stars. Here I am discussing about the stars of Rahu and Ketu, that means constellation of Rahu and Ketu. From this presentation, the constellations of Rahu and Ketu, actually no, Rahu is illusion, greed, lust, desire, and everything up to have its own. Therefore, Rahu acts as karma houses. Karma houses. Karma means karma trines. That is lust and greeds, trines. There are three trines of karma trines. That is heart, seventh, and 11th. Third, 7th, and 11th house of horoscope are the karma trines. Therefore, the constellation of Rahu is in the karma sign. That is first constellation of Rahu by the full star position of karma trine. that is Mithuna Rashi, Gemini, and the constellation is Adra Nakshatra. And the second Kama trine is in Libra, that is Tula Rashi. The whole constellation of Tula Rashi in middle position is Swati Nakshatra, Swati constellation. This is the constellation of Rahu. And in Aquarius, Kama trines, last Kama trines, the Shatabhisha is the main constellation of Aquarius sign, Kumbh Rashi, and that very star or constellation belongs to Rahu. Likewise, Ketu constellation. Ketu is to some extent connected to temple, dharma, and occult sciences, and moksha. Therefore, Ketu constellation is related to the dharma trines. These yoga also is very explosive, because you know Rahu is the commander-in-chief of Danava, and the Mars is the commander-in-chief of Debnath. Therefore, two commander-in-chief in the same sign indicates very explosion in native's life. Very irritated person. And then the yoga forms with the Mercury. Rahu conjunct with Mercury in the same sign is called Pachal yoga. This yoga makes the native very talkative and talks in air. And the Rahu, while conjunct with Jupiter, this is called Guru Chandala yoga. This yoga also malefic yoga for a native. Native sometimes may be very pious, and sometimes he may not. The native may not obey to his boss, obey to his gurus, obey to his seniors. And Rahu, and then Rahu with conjunction, while Rahu conjunct with Venus in a sign, this is called Lampata yoga. This yoga is also malefic for a native. This yoga may be pervert a native sexually or any other means. Rahu while conjunct with Saturn, this is called Srapi yoga, cursed. This yoga also malefic for a native. This yoga is also malefic for native. And for the detailed discussion of this yoga, I shall come up with another video in details in next time. Please stay with me. And now,
now friends, I am going to discuss about the significations of Rahu. That is not note. Dragon's head. You know the position, conjunction, and aspect of Rahu in birth chart clearly tells us about some unsatisfactory areas of past life of a native. Those unsatisfactory experience of native from the past life carried forward to this present life as a bundle of demand, desire, represented by Rahu itself. Obviously, it refers to the future of native. The future achievement and utmost demand of native for material gains. Rahu, that is not note, stands for attraction, an attachment to some things that may be pious or impious, ugly or beauty, and may be good or bad. That's not factor. Rahu provokes lust for enjoyment, lust for physical pleasure, lust for temporary amusement. Rahu is a great for power, position and properties. Rahu increases greed for material gains, desire for unlimited gains, dreams to have possess everything by any means, by hook or by crook. Rahu makes a man very ambitious in nature. Rahu makes a man selfish in nature. Rahu gives priority to self-benefit only. Rahu represents cunningness, falsehood, deceitful activities. But Rahu is Arvan. This is the beauty of Rahu. Rahu is modern, polished and untraditional in nature. Rahu represents suddenness and events. Rahu connected with foreigners and distant places. Again, Rahu is dark and shadowy, very mysterious planet. Rahu is obviously destiny blocker, obstacle in life. Rahu stands for costly diseases. Rahu relates to photography, large machine and modern technology. Rahu represents the relatives like in-laws and paternal grandparents. Now friends, I am discussing about the salient significations of Ketu, that is south node or dragon's tail here. Ketu represents small, very small, tiny things, subtle things, ending of everything. That may be tail, rope, wire. Ketu attached to past life experiences. So, Ketu represents skill, past life memories, intuitions. Ketu begets detachment, detraction, separations. Ketu related to apathy, carelessness, tastelessness, to material gains over material world. Ketu provokes moksha, emancipation, that is sannyas, from worldly affairs. But Ketu is skillful in software industry, software technology, small instruments. Ketu represents obstinacy. Ketu likes to stick to own principles. Ketu is related to occult science, astrology, research works, philosophy, deep knowledge about anything. That is Ketu eager to know the root of everything. Ketu represents salvation. Ketu is itself mystery, dark and shadowy planet. Ketu likes secluded places, solitary places. Ketu is also related to snake, poison, poisonous insects, insect bite, depression, suicide. Ketu is to some extent transformation of life. blocker of life, destiny blocker. Ketu refers the relatives like maternal grandparents.
Yes. Yes, Allah. Yes, no. Yes, welcome. Yes, welcome to know. Rahu Ketu. There are so many conjunctions I dealt here and another types of conjunction. And you know, yes, and you know, Rahu and Ketu are important in astrology. Therefore, every aspect of Rahu Ketu can be maybe. And you know, 2 minutes. There you have 10 minutes. Yes, no. Rahu and Ketu are important to study every aspect of Rahu and Ketu. Here I shall discuss about the Rahu Ketu's conjunction. That means very important conjunction that were dealt with before. Now I shall discuss about the Rahu Ketu's position in astrology. That means in Kundli, in horoscope. While Rahu and Ketu exist, while 7 planets, the important change of positional astrology, positional astrology here I am discussing about the important positional astrology in horoscope. You know, the permutation combination of the planets or the prarabdha, that means carried forward from the past life date and also the future of the native. Here the positions and arrangement of Rahu and Ketu are very important for the better prediction of the horoscope. Here I shall talk about the Rahu Ketu's position. That means Rahu Ketu axis in a horoscope. And the other side, the 7 planets beginning from the Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn. These 7 planets are in the one side of Rahu Ketu axis, specifically in front of Rahu's movement, Rahu's transit. That means in clockwise direction of northern India chart, in clockwise direction in North Indian chart, and anti-clockwise direction in South Indian chart. That is very important yoga. That is malefic yoga. It is called KALSARPA yoga. These yogas are named after the names of some ancient serpents, celestial serpents, celestial Sharpa. So now I'm going to clear about the KALSARPA yoga, because there is KALSARPA yoga is 2 types. While the 7 planets are in front of Rahu, it is called purely KALSARPA yoga, very malefic yoga for the native. And if the 7 planets are situated if the 7 planets are on the other side of Rahu Ketu axis, that means anti-clockwise side of North Indian chart and clockwise side of South Indian chart. That is back side of the Rahu's transit. That is called Kalamrita yoga. And this Kalamrita yoga is benefic yoga for a native. And about the Kalamrita yoga in details, I shall again come up with another video in the future. And now I am discuss about the KALSARPA yoga here. Through the screen sharing, you will see here what is the KALSARPA yoga here. Here the chart of North Indian chart here. This is the Rahu Ketu axis. It may be anywhere in the in any sign. This Rahu Ketu axis, that may be anywhere, but the situation is there must be in front of Rahu. That means any clockwise direction of Rahu, in front of Rahu, there should be 7 planets in one side. That will be called KALSARPA yoga. And if the situation is reversed, that means 7 planets are behind the Rahu's transit. That means in the left side of the chart of North Indian chart, then it will call the Kalamrita yoga. There are 12 types of Kalamrita. There are 12 types of KALSARPA yoga. There are 12 types of KALSARPA yoga in reference according to the position of ascendant. There are 12 types of KALSARPA yoga. These KALSARPA yoga here, I shall again discuss about screen sharing presentation. The 12 types of KALSARPA yoga here. Here you see, while the Rahu posited in ascendant, while Rahu is situated in ascendant house, that is first house, then the KALSARPA yoga is called Anand KALSARPA yoga. If the Rahu is situated in second sign of second house of ascendant, then the KALSARPA yoga is called Kulik KALSARPA yoga. If the Rahu is situated in the third house of ascendant, then the Vasuki KALSARPA yoga. And when the Rahu is situated in posited in fourth house of ascendant, then the Sankhapala KALSARPA yoga. And if the Rahu is posited in fifth house of ascendant, then the KALSARPA yoga is named as Padma KALSARPA yoga. If the Rahu is situated in sixth house of ascendant, all the calculation will be from the ascendant only. Then the KALSARPA yoga is called Mahapadma KALSARPA yoga. If the Rahu is situated in seventh house of the ascendant, then the KALSARPA yoga is called Takshaka KALSARPA yoga. If the Rahu is situated in the ninth house, if the Rahu is situated and posited in eighth house of the ascendant, then the KALSARPA yoga is called Karkataka KALSARPA yoga. Karkataka KALSARPA yoga. If the Rahu is ascendant, if the Rahu is situated in the ninth house of the ascendant, then the KALSARPA yoga is called Sankhachur KALSARPA yoga. If the Rahu is situated in the 10th house of ascendant, then the KALSARPA yoga is called Khataka KALSARPA yoga. If the Rahu is situated in the 11th house of the ascendant, then the KALSARPA yoga is called Vishadhara KALSARPA yoga. If the Rahu is situated in the last house, that is the 12th house, then the KALSARPA yoga is called Sheshnath KALSARPA yoga. Here 12 types of KALSARPA yoga. Here types of KALSARPA yoga is named after one type of celestial serpent, and the prediction of all 12 that is Anant KALSARPA Yoga to Sheshna KALSARPA Yoga, total about the prediction of total KALSARPA Yoga. I shall come up with another video next time. Whatsoever, the position of Rahu is always beneficial and powerful in Mercurian signs, that means Gemini and Virgo signs. And Ketu is always beneficial in Jupiterian signs, that is Sagittarius and Pisces sign, Dhanu Rashi and Meena Rashi. Therefore, individually, Rahu Ketu axis is good position, while Rahu and Ketu is situated in Gemini and Sagittarius axis. That means Rahu in Gemini and Ketu is in Sagittarius sign, or Rahu is in Virgo sign and Ketu is in Pisces sign, that means Meena Rashi. But here I am to discuss about the position of Rahu and Ketu accordance with the Lagna ascendant, what type of result they can give. First, while Rahu is in ascendant, that means Lagan Bhav, the native will be successful, rich, intelligent, but cruel. Maybe the native deceitful and harsh in nature. At the same time, while Rahu is first house, then Ketu will be in 7th house of birth chart. Then the result will be such: the spouse will be sicky, unworthy, maybe partner, maybe unworthy partner. There may be 6 diseases, and the native may be indifferent to his spouse. And while Rahu is 2nd house of horoscope, Ditya Bhava, 2nd Bhava, this position to Rahu makes the native wealthy, but there may be mouth disease and a spot on face, untruthful speaking, and materialistic person. And there may be disparity. There may be the native may be unhappy about his family. At the same time, while Rahu is in 2nd house, Ketu will be in 8th house of horoscope. While Ketu is in 8th house, the native's longevity will be affected, suffer. There may be accident. There may be any types of suicide, depression, or any secrecy, or any disease of secret organ, anal disease. But the native will be skillful in research and occult sciences. And while Rahu is in 3rd house of ascendant, this type of position makes the native bold, hard worker, intelligent, opposes to sibling, and disturbance with the neighbors. And at the same time, while Rahu is in third house, Ketu will be in ninth house of horoscope. This type of nativity will be unorthodox, but it will be intuitive, blessing, and attached to temple and occult sciences. While Rahu is in fourth house of ascendant in the birth chart, the native will be discontent, unsatisfied, and happiness will suffer, and the parents from happiness from parents also will be suffer, and the native will live own residence. Own birthplace. Native will live birthplace. At the same time, Ketu will be in 10th house of ascendant. This position makes the native detached from the profession, detached from father. But this person will work for others. There may be any enemy in the professional field. And this type of person may work in occult sciences also. This type of native oil with secretive, sinful act, and there may be eye disease. While Rahu is 7th house of ascendant, conjugal unhappy, sickly wife, untraditional partner, and loss of business, foreign connection. There may be any foreign connections. At the same time, while Rahu is in 7th house, Ketu will be in 1st house. The native will be creative, backbiter, worry about something. And while Rahu is in 8th house, there may be any accident, sex inclined person, there may be sex diseases, or the person is mysterious, and the person is attached to foreign countries. And while Ketu is in 2nd house, the foul space detached from the family, there may be mouth disease. While Rahu is in 9th house of ascendant, there is a material success, but not pious. The person is a traditional breaker. Tradition breaker. And is tradition breaker. At the same time, while Rahu is 9th house, Ketu will be in 3rd house. The person is bold and with such a good stamina. The person is divine inclined, divine grace, and the person may be detachment from the siblings. While Rahu is in 10th house, the native will be famous, rich, but good, not good dates, not good for parents also. At the same time, Ketu will be in 4th house. There will be loss of property, loss of land and mother, and the person lives birthplace also. At the same time, while Rahu is in 11th house of ascendant, there will be a success in material gains, there will be foreign gains, and love life will suffer. At the same time, while Rahu is in 11th house, then the Ketu will be in 5th house. There may be mentally worried, no happiness from children occur. While Rahu is in 12th house of ascendant, there will be much more expenditure the person is secret and sinful and no bit comfort and honors. At the same time, Ketu will be in 6th house of the ascendant. This position makes the native overcomes enemies, good health, power of siddhis, etc. Now, friends, I have come up with the next chapter, the very last chapter, very important chapter of Rahu Ketu details. That is remedial portion of the astrology. To know whatsoever the position of Rahu and Ketu in the horoscope and the affliction made by the Rahu and Ketu, these are all from the past lives did carried forward to this present life. We as an astrologer know the affliction of Rahu and Ketu are very important and will suffer the negative. How get rid of from this affliction of Rahu and Ketu? This is the $100 question. This is the $100 worth question. What will you do? Here is the importance of astrology, remedial astrology, the third part of astrology. You know, first part of astrology is to calculation only mathematics of astrology, astronomical position of horoscope, and the second part of horoscope is predictive part of horoscope. What will the result be? What types of result, what types of life will be? That's the enough. But how can we overcome from those such affliction of Rahu and Ketu? That is the major part, vital part of astrology, and that is the remedial astrology. But here is one point is clear, friends. To know, destiny cannot be changed. Destiny can't be altered. Because you know it is carried from, past life karma, past lives deed. Therefore, astrologers are no, and no, guys, astrologers are not what? They can only see the horoscope, see the future, can predict the future, what events and what type of events will be affected and what will be next time. The effect of the planet, what type of effect will be in native's life. But here is another question also. But here is another solution. The solution is that there are 3 types of fat. One type of fat is rajit, that is destiny, that is brought forward from the past life, prarabdha karma. And another 2 types of destinies, that is fats, can be changeable. Those are changeable. That can be minimized. That can be nullified also. That can be minimized. That can be nullified also through astro-remedial measures throughout India, throughout the world. There are so many varieties, but every variety is effective to some extent. Here some of the remedies. Here some of the remedies I shall discuss for the pacification of afflicted Rahu and Ketu. That means number one, charity, dan. That is virtuous deeds, punya karma, compassion, karuna, and service, that is seva, towards humanity and spiritual activities. And there are some activities like spiritual activities like mantra, japa, and bhajan, pujan, etc. And also there are some another types of remedies in astrology for the pacification of Rahu and Ketu, herbs, medicines, and also gems. The number one point, charity. Charity means dana. There is a specific rule for the dana. We know Rahu represents paternal grandparents and the relatives like in-laws. Therefore, charity towards paternal grandparents and the good relation and virtuous deeds, a good relation with the in-laws will pacify the Rahu afflicted natives. Pacify Rahu affliction. And we know Ketu stands for some maternal grandparents. Therefore, service to the great and therefore service to the maternal grandparents, charity towards the maternal grandparents also pacify Ketu affliction. Here another word from our scriptures. Shani Vath Rahu, Ketu Vath Mangal. Shani Vath Rahu, Ketu Vath Mangal. That means Rahu resembles to Saturn and Ketu resembles to Mars. Therefore, for the pacifying afflicted Rahu and Ketu, you can take with the remedial measures of Saturn for Rahu and Mars for Ketu also. Activities of mantra, tantra, japa. Herbs. There are so many herbs are used in India for the pacification of Rahu. That is one type of herb we know. That is white sandal. Is very beneficial for the affliction of Rahu. And for the pacification of Ketu, malefic Ketu, you can pour water on shivling covering by a serpent. That will be better, or you can feed dog daily. This, and in connection with the gems, there are so many controversy about the gems or remedial measures of Rahu and Ketu, or Rahu and remedial measures of astrology also. But for malefic Rahu, the malefic affliction of Rahu, you can wear pomade 7 to 8 carat. And for Ketu, you can wear cat's eye in ring measuring 5 to 7 carats. But in gemology, there are some restriction about gemology. The gem therapy, you know, if Rahu and Ketu are posited in 3 houses, that is 6, 8, 12 houses, or related to 6, 8, 12 houses, then the gems of Rahu and Ketu should not be weird And another conception, if Rahu and Ketu are situated in the malefic Tara, that is in the Navtara system, in malefic Taras, in Navtara system, that is Vipattara, Bhattara, and Nidhan Taras, then from the gems of Rahu and Ketu. Now, friends, I'm going to conclude this classroom for today, and I shall again come up with another topic. Yes, with another video with the topics, those I already forgotten to describe about the Rahu Ketu details here, especially the KALSARPA yoga in details, KALAMRITA yoga in details, or any point I left here, I shall again come up with those points again. Thank you all for hearing me for this long time. Thank you. Thank you so much. See you again. Namaskar. Jai.